Hey, what's up, team? I hope you guys are doing well and that you're having a sensational start to your Saturday. First things first, before we talk about what we're going through today, we're going to hit you with the question of the day. So, today's question of the day is, what do you guys typically rebel against? That could be authority, that could be whatever. It's completely up to you guys. For me, I tend to rebel against people saying that they can't do things. That's just one of my things that I have a tendency of rebelling against. I just like to say, even though you might not be able to do it now, that the biggest keyword that you can use is yet. You can't do it yet, because if you apply your effort and work towards it, eventually someday you'll be able to. But that's the end of my rant. We're going to talk now about what we have going on for our workout today. So, all right, team. So first things first, what we're going to be starting off with today is a little bit of a gymnastics progression. So with this, in minute one, we're going to be going through 5 to 7 reps of a handstand push-up progression. From there, guys, in minute two, we're going to be doing 1 to 3 reps of a wall walk. And then in minute three, we're going to be going through 20 hollow rocks just to work our midline a little bit more and work on creating that tension. Now, in minute one today, guys, we have the option of doing our handstand push-ups as a pike from the floor, a pike from a box or a chair or a bed or a table, just a sturdy surface that you guys can get up into that pike position. And then really, if you guys have already built up to that, you can work up to your handstand push-up against the wall, whether that be kipping or strict as well too. We're looking for 5 to 7 reps of whatever option you choose. Now, this is a really, really good time to work on practicing and refining this skill. We know that going up overhead, that's a true expression of our strength, or our upper body pressing strength. That ability to be pressing something heavy up overhead has very good transference, especially to the higher level of gymnastic skills. So that end of the spectrum with this being that handstand push-up, it's even something that can transfer into other skill work within the handstands domain, where we're looking at even doing some handstand walks, which brings our next movement into place with the wall walks today. So these wall walks are really good for that stability, for learning how to create and sustain tension throughout that midline and hold that position, and then shift and weight transfer from hand to hand as we're walking up that wall today. Now, if we don't have a wall that we can walk up against, we can still be in a pike position, whether that's on a chair or whether that's practicing within our inchworm position that we normally would take whenever we do our warm-ups. So you guys can treat the wall walk as in those progressions or scaling options. After that, we have our hollow rocks. Pretty straightforward. Do your 20 hollow rocks. If the hollow rocks are hard for us to do, we can do a hollow hold. We can sub that out and hold that for about 30 seconds. All right, and now we're going to talk about what we have going on with our AMRAP, or our main portion of the workout today. So for this, guys, we're going through 3 sets of 2 minutes of max backpack swings, 2 minutes of max backpack alternating reverse lunges, and 2 minutes of max backpack Turkish get-ups. And then we're going to have 1 minute of rest between our sets. Our score today for this piece is going to be our total number of reps that we get. Now, this piece is going to be a really, really good test of our muscular endurance and our capacity, and even our stability today as well too. So when we get into these backpack swings today, guys, something that I want you to think about when you're picking your weight, whether that be loading your backpack or using your kettlebell or your dumbbell, depending on what implement or object you have, is picking something that you're able to do at least 20 reps unbroken of before you have to set it down. Maybe you're going to have a weight that you're able to move through those 2 minutes. The more you move, the better today, guys. It's really, really all about testing your stamina and your capacity and your ability to hold on and log as many reps as you possibly can with this. Now, these backpack swings are going to light up our posterior chain, so get into the hamstrings and the glutes a little bit. From there, we're going to get into our alternating reverse lunges with the backpack. You'll note in the video demos, you can do these in a front rack position. You can do them in a bear hug. You can do it with the backpack on your back, or even in a back rack position as well too, depending on if you have a barbell at home. But with this today, team, we are looking for you guys to be able to go ideally unbroken, or to have to break it up in one set. So you should have a light to moderate weight on there that you can move for 2 minutes with one break tops. Okay, so that's the main emphasis with that one. We're gonna fry our legs a little bit, or not really fry them, but get get a pretty mean little pump going on, and we're going to be working for that whole 2 minutes ideally with a minimal rest in there. Now, after we're done that, guys, we're going to go through and we're going to switch things up. We're going to get into our max reps of our backpack Turkish getup. Now, with this today, guys, whatever load you choose for this piece, I want you to be able to lock your arm out fully the whole entire time. So this is a locked out arm, not this. There's no bend. There's no bend here. Fully locked out. I want you guys to have that locked arm throughout the whole entire piece, okay? And that's going to dictate your ability. This is going to be more of the bottleneck throughout this workout. It's going to slow us down a little bit, so treat this piece for quality, but still try and get in as many reps as you can with this backpack Turkish getup. All right, guys, so after we're done that workout, we're going to have ourselves a notch so optional finisher today. We're going to go through 2 to 3 sets of 8 single arm high pulls on each side of our body, followed by 30 flutter kicks, followed by 8 half kneeling strict presses on each side of our body. Now, you guys can rest as needed as you do this piece today, but one thing to keep in mind, today's all about practicing these movements with the best technique that we possibly can, but also as strict movements today. So our single arm high pull is going to be a strict single arm high pull today. Our flutter kicks, we want that tight hollow body position and maintaining nice short controlled flutter kicks. And then when we get into this kneeling strict press today, guys, I want you to just move through a nice slow controlled range of motion as you are pressing whichever implement that you are going with on this. It's going to be really good to just build our shoulder strength up a little bit more and to also work that midline a little bit more today. I hope you guys have fun with this piece. The movement demos and briefs are coming up next. See ya. Team Kels and Danny coming at you today with our first movement of the day. So this, guys, we're going through our pike handstand push-up. Now in this position today, guys, our big focus is trying to maintain that tripod position with the hands. So from here, guys, we're going to lower that head down in front of the hands, press that floor away, and finish with that head up and through, just as we would in that handstand push-up position for our reps. That whole time we're squeezing that midline on, keeping it nice and tight. We're driving those elbows back behind us and pressing that floor away. You can pop out of there here. All right, guys, so here's our first scaling option or progression that we have for that handstand push-up, for that pike push-up today. So with this, guys, we can look at doing this from the ground. So we're taking that wide stance with the legs. Same focus applies. We're trying to get the head in front of the hands and keep that nice tripod position. We're pushing up and back to get into the top of that position today, guys. Our other option today, if we want to make this a little bit more challenging, is to kick up the wall and do it as our handstand push-up. So we're kicking up from the wall. We're initiating that movement by sending those elbows down and back, and then tucking those knees into the body and kicking up to the top, going through these reps. Now, with these handstand push-ups, if we are doing them as our kipping, we are making sure that we're getting those hips to the wall, pulling the knees to the chest, kicking those legs straight up as high as we can. You can pop out of there, dear. Our other option that we do have, if we want to make it even more progressively challenging, is to do these strict today, guys. So that's taking that kip away. We're moving through that range of motion that we're comfortable with moving with through. Those are our scaling progressions and options for the day. All right, team, our next option that we have today is going to be our wall walks. So with these wall walks today, guys, we're starting down with our chest on the ground, and then we are pressing up to the top of that press up position. We're gonna walk those feet up the wall, maintaining that nice tight hollow position, and walk those hands in to the wall until we get as close as we comfortably can, or until we can get that chest to the wall while maintaining that beautiful straight hollow position and line. And then we will walk those hands out the whole time, though we're walking our feet down the wall today and not letting them slide into that bottom position. We're gonna aim for 1 to 3 reps of this while we perform it. First piece of our finisher today, we are doing our hollow rocks. So with this, guys, we're gonna start off in this position with the feet together, squeezing those quads on, pointing those toes across the room, the hands overhead and the shoulders lifted off the ground, and then we are rocking back and forth. The whole time we're keeping that tension on, pulling that rib cage down to the pelvis and maintaining this position for 20 seconds of work. From there, Our other alternative that we have is to go through, we can do little rocks with pulling those knees up or having the hands down to the side, or with our hands overhead, or alternating and having one leg bent. If these rocks are too challenging for us, we can hold that hollow position again, either with the legs extended out or tucked in, as Danny's showing us these variety of positions here. All right, guys, we're coming at you with our Russian backpack swings for today. So with this, guys, we're gonna take that foot width stance that is slightly wider than shoulder width apart to allow for the space for this backpack to travel through those legs. Now here, how we're gonna be initiating this movement is we're gonna pick that backpack up off the ground, the big silverback gorilla position. From here, we are gonna send those hips back and send that backpack down and back or between the legs, and then we're gonna drive the heels through the floor and swing that backpack up to eye level. Now the whole time, guys, I want you to really think about squeezing your glutes hard, driving the heels through the floor, and snapping your knees to the back of the room while you do these repetitions today. Next year. Oh, and we'll go right into it. So our next movement that we have now, guys, is going to be our backpack lunges. Now with these lunges today, we can either do them forward or reverse. The other option that we have today with our lunges is how we hold this backpack. So the first option that we have today is we can hold that backpack up in a front rack position, so you can hold on to either end of it. We're gonna try and keep those elbows nice and high. From here, whether we're stepping forward or back, we are looking at kissing that back knee down to the ground while maintaining that nice vertical torso position, and then we're driving up hard through that heel, squeezing those glutes, and standing up to full extension at each of these reps. So Danny's showing us forward and reverse here. Our other option that we have now with that backpack is we can take it in a bear hug position. All the same points of performance apply, so we're still kissing that back knee down to the ground. We're trying to create as close to 90-degree angles as we can with those legs and keeping that vertical torso position. Our other option that we have with our backpack positioning now is to simply put it on as we wear a backpack. Don't be the cool kid and only single strap it. Double strap that backpack up, and then we'll go through these positions while we hit it here. Okay, guys? So this is our other option that we have for this position. So our final movement that we have today in this piece is going to be our Turkish get up. So with this, we can use a backpack, we can use a dumbbell, we can use a kettlebell, we can even use a bottle of detergent or something. When we set up with this today, guys, we are going to have one arm that's fully extended out. So that's going to be locked out the whole time. From there, the same leg on that same side of the body is going to have that heel tucked up as close to our glutes or our butt as possible. Going to have that opposite hand off to the side. From here, to initiate this movement, we are going to start by sitting up or rocking up onto that elbow, driving up through that hand. The whole time we're still looking up at the bag. From this position, we're going to drive those hips to the ceiling. Then we're going to swing that leg back into a lunge position, get up into that vertical position as we would at the bottom of the lunge, and then stand up to full hip extension. So that's half of the movement. From here, we're going to reverse that movement. We're going to bring that back leg down, kiss the knee to the floor, find the ground with that back hand, swing that leg through in front of us, drop the hips to the floor, rock back to the elbow, rock back to our chest, or to our shoulders, I should say, or our back. That's one rep team. Cool. All right, guys, so we are going to work through now our little bit of a finisher. So with this, guys, with our finisher today, we are going to do some single arm high pulls, but we're going to treat this as a strict piece. So we're going to stand there, kind of squeeze those glutes on, squeeze the quads on, pull that rib cage to the pelvis, and drive that elbow high and outside. As you're doing this movement today, guys, I want you to think about zipping up the front of a jacket and keeping that elbow punched up high and outside as Danny is demonstrating here for us today. So our next piece that we have now is a half kneeling strict press. We can do this with our backpack, dumbbells, or kettlebells. From here, team, we're going to have one leg that's up in front in that 90-degree angle, one leg that's down back at the 90-degree angle, just as we would in the bottom of a lunge position. We'll then bring that implement up to our shoulder. Now, with this, note that the side of the body that the leg is down on is going to be the side that we're pressing on. From here, you're going to lock that rib cage down and punch that backpack up to the top of the ceiling and bring it back down. You'll do this for your 8 reps before you swap to the other side. And this is our half kneeling backpack strict press. Cool. Next step. And then hollow flutter kicks, and then we're done. flutter kicks for today. So with this, guys, we're down in the bottom of that hollow position. We're pulling that rib cage down to our pelvis. We're squeezing our quads on, our legs on, keeping the feet pulled together as close as we can be for this. And then we are going to alternate by kicking those toes back and forth. Now, if we want to make this a little bit more challenging, we can bring our hands up over our head and still pull the shoulder or the rib cage down to the pelvis and pull those shoulders off the ground. We can have the hands down to the side, or we can also tuck those knees in ever so slightly if we need to do small little flutter kicks there as well too, team.